All right. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be going through some interesting stuff on this live stream, so hopefully you'll stay with me as long as you can. There's a lot of crazy things going on. It's fun to observe, talk about, and see what's all going on. If you just scroll through your feed for 5 minutes, you'll find 5 seconds, you'll find some kind of crazy video, somebody doing something crazy. And so today we're going to start off by talking about Raja Jackson, this beating in the pro wrestling ring, and just kind of go through that and lay it out from start to finish. Not really political or anything. And then the second half we'll talk about some left-wing Democrat craziness that's going on, and take a look at some of their videos. So let's start off by getting into this deal with Raja Jackson. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's been going viral. You probably have. This issue, this scenario, I guess, problem happened at KnokX Pro Wrestling, which is a training facility in Los Angeles that's tied to the WWE. They train wrestlers, they run live shows, and they usually keep things tightly controlled. But not in this instance. So Raja Jackson is a 25-year-old kid who is the son of Rampage Jackson, who was a great MMA fighter. So Raja is also an aspiring MMA fighter, but from what I can tell, his record is 0-1. So I'm not sure how into it he is, I guess, or how good he is at it. And he wasn't really booked to be part of this show, from what I can tell. He sort of just shows up. I'm not sure exactly how, but this turns into a whole series of events, and it's got a lot of people talking about it. So it all started off like this. Raja's in the white shirt.
I'd be worried about Syko Stu.
Syko Stu?
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little.
Oh, you don't sell it?
Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good.
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it?
Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
What the fuck was that? Hold on. I don't play that shit, bro.
Oh, sorry.
No, I will fuck him
we're
up,
good.
bro.
I know you will.
No.
We're good.
I will fuck him up, bro.
I know you will.
I don't play that shit.
Sorry about that.
No, I will fuck him up.
Okay, so you can see that it starts with this the white dude with the beer belly. His name's Syko Stu, and so Raja just shows up, and he's got a camera. He's got a guy following him around with a camera. He's not apparently supposed to even be back there. I don't know how he got back there or why he's back there, but he's back there talking to these wrestlers. And so Syko Stu comes up to him. It seems like he thinks that this is some kind of a skit, and that's why he has the cameraman there. And this is some kind of drama, because this is how the professional wrestling world works. You have these dramatic scenarios, fighting, smashing beer cans on people's heads, and that's supposed to enhance the drama, that for later on in the show there's going to be, a payback. This makes sense that he would think that this is all part of some kind of skit, and he was playing into it. You don't know who Syko Stu is? I'm Syko Stu, bitch, and stuff like that. So I think that he thought this was a gimmick. And you'll see in the later clip that's kind of, in our next clip, that's kind of what he does think. It's supposed to look brutal, but it's really harmless. That's probably a fake can. We don't know, but it's probably a prop that didn't hurt or anything. But Syko Stu doesn't know that Raja is not part of the act. He's not like a new guest who's going to be joining him for the night. And so Raja isn't a pro wrestler. He's an MMA fighter. So he's not really a performance actor. And so he instantly takes offense at this, like, what in the world is going on here? You know, and he's now in fight mode, and he just sort of gets attacked for not knowing who Syko Stu is, and why would he know who he is? You know, he's not in the wrestling circuit. So, and you can even hear somebody say in the background, "Whoa, settle down," to Syko Stu, that he's not a worker, meaning he's not part of the talent. He's not part of the show. He's not. So I don't know why he was filming all this to begin with, Raja, but if he was trying to create some shit before we see the video, that's the earliest that I've seen a video that starts. So, so then after this, and this whole brawl, Syko Stu apologizes. It seems like they make amends. Let's take a look at that.
Don't fucking feel that.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. Hey, it's gonna all work out.
Yeah. Hello.
I apologize.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you were.
Camera.
I get it.
We're working out. Well, he's gonna come out on your mat, Juice. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Yeah. I get it now. Now you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're always working.
Yeah, so you can kind of see there where Syko Stu thought that this was part of the gig. This was one of the gimmicks that they were working. That this was part of the show. And he said, "Sorry, you know, I didn't know. I thought you were part of the talent." And then you can see this other guy, one of Syko Stu's colleagues, who goes and says, "You know, got to be careful. You might come out on the mat," or something weird like that, which kind of seems odd. But just, you know, maybe they know who Raja is. I guess I don't know. But it seems like Raja was genuine and accepted his apology. Seemed like everything was done. All the, you know, misunderstanding was taken care of. So he literally says he thought Raja was part of the talent, and they shake hands multiple times. And at that point, KnokX staff and other wrestlers set up a small receipt, basically giving Raja one safe move in the ring to even the score. So on paper, they're not supposed to do that, but they think that, you know, they get him involved in the show, I guess, and they'll let him do something to even the score, but not what they planned. But in the meantime, Raja is not really accepting his apology, and he's on his social media, and what he's doing is he's reading comments and he's interacting with his fans or with his followers, and they're just giving him hell about this because he was live streaming this. And so they're all over him about, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And he gets all worked up. So let's take a look at that one. That's the next clip.
Bro, it didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off. And shit pissed me off.
He's on his phone. He's interacting with his followers.
Bro, my dad can't do shit. I'm gonna fake crash out. All right, bet. You about to see how fake of a crash out I am.
You heard what he said? Someone said to him, "You're a fake crash out." He said, "I'm a fake crash out." Bet. Again, you're gonna see the escalation.
It's always been my dream to fuck up a pro wrestler for real. So I get it today. Am I really gonna fight him? Yeah, I'm gonna punch his ass for real. I don't believe in me getting disrespected too. I'm too nice. Bet. That shit was not staged. I'm telling you that right now. How many subs to knock him out? That's a good question. 50 subs to knock him out. If he hits me back for real, I don't give a fuck. I want him to. Y'all want me to teabag him? People think this shit's sweet. People think this shit's a fucking game. Hey, you're right, Joel. I gotta show him some form of respect. Then they don't train no goddamn martial arts. I'm really going to hit him. I'm telling you. What should I do, chat? Should I pick him up? Should I slam him first or hit him? W, if I should slam him first, I'm not fucking around. You don't think I can do it, Miggy? Bet. My dad can't never call me a bitch. Fuck this dude. Oh, you think he's stronger than me? All right, Suave, watch. Shut the up. Shut the f up, Sharpe. I bet you wouldn't be talking like this if you was in front of me, nigga. Chat, watch what I do to him. Tony, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you, Tony.
A few moments later.
All right, so you can see there that he's feeding into the chat. He's letting the chat get in his head, and he's feeling all defensive, and like he's got to be a tough guy, and he's got to show them. And he's just taking their bait, because they're trying to get him to do something. They're trying to get him to do something, you know. And instead of being reasonable, he just gets sucked into it, and he's like, oh, I gotta prove that I'm a man. My dad ain't gonna be able to make fun of me and call me a bitch anymore, and blah blah blah. You know, that whole tough guy routine. I gotta show these things. If I don't, then I'm a weak ass. You know, and so he gets totally sucked in. Totally, like, what 12-year-olds who are on his live stream. I mean, he lets himself get carried away big time. And so he brags that, you know, the beer can didn't hurt. And he's, you know, he said 50 subscribers, I'll knock him out. 50 subs, I'll knock him out. You know, just anyway. So now we get to the part, the meat of this issue. This is where shit gets bad. Because Syko Stu thinks that they made amends, thought that he apologized and that everything's cool. So Raja's going to jump into the ring, and Syko Stu's not really going to do much about it. He's going to let himself be lifted. He's going to kind of play around, and then Raja just goes apeshit and just goes crazy on him. I mean, it's brutal. So let's take a look. This is the clip that's been going viral all over the internet.
You! Get on it!
Hey, you gotta stop this shit, man. Hey. Stop this shit, man.
Oh, shit. Man, every time I see that. So Raja's obviously a fighter. He's obviously extremely strong. He picks that guy up, no problem, and he slams him down and whips his head back against the ground. I'm not sure if so you can kind of see that Syko Stu doesn't seem to be like in a defensive posture, like this is a fight that he's getting himself into, but thinks that this is part of the gag, you know, this is part of the gimmick. And so when Raja slams him down and his head hits the ground, I'm not sure if he was knocked out at that point or not. I think that maybe he was just, you know, in these pro wrestling, they tend to, you know, act like they're knocked out. So he might have not been. I don't know how the floors are in this, but after the first punch, I think that he got knocked out for sure, because Raja just went ballistic. I mean, he just kept hitting and kept hitting and kept hitting and kept hitting. Way unnecessary. For a misunderstanding earlier, he had to, it has sort of like a Will Smith kind of vibe to it, that I've gotta act like a tough guy, but really the overreaction kind of makes it seem like, you know, I don't know, this is sort of like a childish, sort of overly emotional, you know, show to think that yourself that you're a tough guy. Not really has to do with you actually being seen as a tough guy. Like he feels inferior and inadequate, it seems, and like this is his way of proving that he's not. And it's it's fueled by the chat that he was having. So he hits him 20 times, more, maybe more, at least 20 times. And he hit him hard. This is a real force. He mounted him and he just started pounding away in his face. So he got knocked out. He stayed knocked out for quite a while. From what I understand is he's in the hospital and he's conscious. And so he didn't die. I mean, this is going to be bad. It's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out. Is he going to be arrested for premeditated murder? You know, it seems like he's trying to kill the guy. Probably not, but definitely some kind of extreme assault charge. And I don't have the clip here, but there's kind of an interesting clip of his dad talking about him and his other siblings. And it's in an interview, and he makes a comment that, yeah, Raja, these two kids, I'm saving money so that they can go to college, but I didn't save any money for Raja because he's probably going to go to prison. That's sad. So, but this is the kind of shit that gets you in prison for sure, you know. So then after this, they stop him and they run him out of the building basically, and he's walking down the street and he's still got his video going because his buddy's still with him, and here, just take a look. Sorry for the screeching there.
Tired of motherfuckers playing with me, bro. Real shit. One of them little bitch and fucking bit me. I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'ma stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit.
Come on, man. We leaving, man. We're walking away, bro. Let's not take it serious. Let's go. Come on, Roger. Let's go. Let's go, Roger. Let's go. Roger, let's go. Roger, I'm telling you, let's go. You listen to me. Listen to me, Roger. You need to listen to me right now, Roger. Let's go.
I don't give a fuck. You guys trying to jump me and shit?
Let's go.
You ain't gonna do shit to me, bro.
Let's go, Roger.
You can't do shit to me. You can't fuck with me, bro.
Let's go.
You can't fuck with me.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, you chopper.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, who walks around saying this kind of stuff? You know, bitch, nobody calling me a bitch. I can take care of myself. Nobody's gonna, like, this is just, it just screams like insecurity or something. It just feels like he's really trying to prove that he's really tough because he doesn't really feel that he is or something. I don't know if he's, but another thing is that he apparently had a concussion recently. So that may have something to do with his overreaction and his lack of his impulse control and reason and things like that. So Syko Stu, it's just a little recap here. So Syko Stu thought Raja was a worker and he apologized when he was told otherwise. But the KnokX Wrestling group allowed an untrained, concussed MMA fighter into a scripted show. So they share probably some responsibility here as well. And Raja, obviously, he's the main one to blame. And he even live streamed his intent. Not good. He escalated way past the point that he needed to. And he just kept beating an unresponsive opponent. And did you notice the ref in the case? Like, he didn't even jump in. In the MMA, once somebody gets knocked out like that, the ref jumps right in between the two guys to protect him from getting pummeled. And he didn't really do anything because that's not what his role is. He's just an actor. He's not really a ref. So doesn't really know what to do in this situation. He just stands there dumbfounded. So we'll see what happens to Raja. I don't think it's going to be good. It does not look good. So now, speaking of calling people bitches and shit, let's pivot over to New York and look at Zohran Mamdani, that Democratic Socialist and rising star. We've got footage here showing Mamdani at a Men's Day event in Brooklyn, where he tried to bench a staggering 135 pounds. Take a look.
Yeah! This is how you move up in the polls. Yeah! Yeah! Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let me get one more, let me get three! Let me get three! Let me get three! Yeah!
They're all celebrating like he did something. He didn't even lift the weight. See the guy behind the spotter? He's lifted the whole thing. Oh gosh, it's so silly. It's so dumb. You know, this is okay. So Democratic Party has an issue with men. They paid $20 million to do a study to how they could get more in touch with young men, right? And then you've got, as a representative of theirs, they've got this little dweeb who's going to a men's event, Men's Day event, and doing a bench press, and he can't even lift 135 pounds. So my prediction is that 80% of Zohran's voters for his mayoral race will be 70 plus, 65, 70 plus old white ladies. Because no men are voting for this guy. This is, or maybe their husbands. But he's going to get the picket line of AARP people probably voting for him, who are trying to wash away their white guilt by selecting a brown Muslim guy to be the mayor, and that somehow mean that they're virtuous and they're noble and all that bullshit that we've heard over and over again. But so in response, there was a lot of funny trolling and reactions to this. Riley Gaines, who can lift more than her own body weight, mocked Mamdani, calling it a gym fail and throwing shade on his leadership strength. And then there's Mayor Eric Adams, who couldn't resist. He posted a video of himself, and somebody juxtaposed it with Mamdani. Take a look at this. Yeah! Eric Adams is on.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let me get one more, let me get three!
64-year-old Eric Adams just pumping it like it doesn't weigh anything, and 33-year-old Mamdani just you know, has to have a strong guy help him. You know, if this isn't if Mamdani isn't just the embodiment of the current state of Democratic leadership, then I mean, it's just so perfect. They're seen as weak leaders. So Eric Adams said the weight of the job is too heavy for Mom Scrawny. The only thing he can lift is your taxes. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, that's so good. Hey, you guys, if you like my channel, my content, if you like what we're talking about here, be sure to like and subscribe. That helps other people find out about the channel. It helps the algorithm. It helps other people find it. I'm also not seeing any comments. Is there something wrong with the feed? Let me check here real quick. Okay, no, I don't think so. That's just odd. Normally there's a lot more comments. Okay. So this isn't just necessarily, you know, mocking a guy for a failing lift. Yeah, it's about what it represents. right? Men are leaving the Democratic Party in droves because they're starving for strength. And Trump sort of is the embodiment of that, you know, and that's what causes a lot of the Democrats to call him a fascist, authoritarian, and all Nazi, because he's not a pushover. You know, he's got a backbone. He's got a force to him. He's got real masculine leadership, and that's what draws people to him. And what do they see when they see people like Mamdani? They see somebody, or Gavin Newsom. They see somebody who's kind of shady, who's kind of squirrely, who's kind of weak, who's going to go this way, go that way, who's going to try and fail, and then he's going to jerry rig the numbers so it doesn't look like he failed. He's not going to have any force to convince anybody to follow through on his policies. He's relying on things like other people's empathy to push his agenda rather than his own willpower. So a party full of guys who can't even get a single plate off their chest without aid is not a good look for the Democratic Party. And, you know, obviously it's their policies. They're weak on crime. They're weak on borders, weak on protecting families, weak on protecting citizens. When your leaders look physically fragile, it mirrors the political fragility we've all been living under. Men don't want more lectures on toxic masculinity. They want leaders who actually embody strength. And people will say, "Oh, Mamdani, so he's so courageous." You know, taking the stances that he takes and having the views that he has and putting them out there and all this kind of stuff. He's not crazy. He's a spoiled rich kid who has never had a real job. You know, that's not strength. That's not, he's never accomplished anything. He's never done anything. He's never gone through that fire that has refined him into somebody who's a rock, who's solid, who can be relied upon. And this is why young men are saying, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, Democrats. I'm going to go over here to the gym bros on the Republican side. You know, some people who have clear values, who stick to them, who hold to them, who fight for them, not these crazy people over here in the Democratic Party who don't really seem to be all that interested in fighting for what's right. Instead, they're fighting for what's weird. And they're fighting for what's not Trump. Like how they justify the crime rates in all these cities. All these cities with Democratic leaders. Newsom just said, "Oh, well, yeah, what about the crime rates are out of control?" Well, 8 out of the 10 top crime-ridden states are Republican states. And this is the kind of shady shit that they do. Yes, I mean, now that is a fact. However, the reason the top 8 are Republican is because the Democrat city inside of them is a cesspool of crime. Led by Democrat mayors, led by Democrat city council, led by Democrat police chiefs. So really, the crime is in the Democrat city, within the Republican state. So, but he thinks it's a big point. But the Democrats are the ones who are totally okay with crime, and they don't seem to give a shit about doing anything about it. They think you could hire more social workers, and that'll solve the problem of crime. That is such a weak, pathetic response to it, and such a slow response. You're going to let how many people get murdered in their streets? How many people's cars get stolen? How many people get beaten? How many people get assaulted? While you're waiting for this weird magical bring in therapists, and then all of a sudden more social workers, and poof, people don't want to steal shit anymore. You know how dumb that sounds? So it's not just a weak man problem. It's really a weak culture that the Democrats believe in. while the Republicans are fighting for a strong culture, a noble culture, a culture you can be proud of and you can fight for, the Democrats believe in a weak, failing, pathetic, limp culture that doesn't tell you anything, doesn't say what you should or shouldn't, but then at the same time judges you for all kinds of things while claiming that it's open-minded. And it's exactly why men are bailing from the left. It's not that difficult to figure out. But the Democrats don't seem to know or have a clue. And here, let's give some more examples of why people are just bailing out of the left. It's because they have people who represent them like this.
Just in case we aren't on the same wavelength, let's get on the same wavelength. People shouldn't have to work to prove their value to you. In fact, people shouldn't have to work. People should want to work, and I want to work, and I do work.
Good.
But it's like, no amount of working is ever going to be enough to prove that I'm not disabled, and no amount of work is going to make me not disabled. You know, it's like, I can only fucking do so much. And it's like, motherfuckers will know literally not one thing about you and be like, jobless. Like, that's an insult.
She kind of looks jobless.
When, like, in reality, like, oh, like, I'm so glad to be out of the 9-to-5 fucking hellscape that is grocery stores. I worked in grocery stores like literally my whole job career. And it's like, now that I'm finally doing nails, it's like, oh, you can enjoy work. You can enjoy work. It's absolutely possible. And in fact, it's not hard. It's just that the world wants you to think that you don't deserve it, so that you don't work for it, so that other people who are more selfish than you can fill those spots instead.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah, because she's the victim, right, obviously. And, you know, kudos on her for having a job, if that's actually true. Good. But she starts off by talking about that she has a disability and that no one should have to work. Why? What? Where in the world are you getting these? How is anything going to get done? Yeah, people do have to work. That's a fact. There's no getting around that. What kind of weird, privileged life did this girl grow up in where she thinks it's even a possibility to not work? Who says that? You might not want to work. Most people don't want to work. It's not all that pleasant to work. But it's absolutely necessary. It's crucial. It's essential. It's the only way you can live, unless you're living off of someone else's work. So she says she has a disability. Any idea what that disability might be? She obviously has mental illness. Only a mentally ill person would look like this, and willingly. She looks like a clown from the circus with her weird glasses and her stupid bone through her nose and her long fingernails, tattoo on her chest, weird top, weird colored hair, weird haircut. You know, and these are spokespeople for the Democratic Party. These are the people that they're totally okay representing them. Not that they really can do anything to stop them, but I don't see anybody like this talking about Republican ideas. And you think that men are interested in being associated with somebody like this? No way. They're out. No, thank you. The party of the mentally unstable. No, thanks. I'm going to go over here to the party that's reasonable. That doesn't need to be doesn't have to be locked up in a psych ward or get all their leaders and representatives out of the psych ward from the local hospital. You know, and she's talking about hard work, you know, and that hard work You were working at a grocery store. That is the simple, easy, very, very low hard work scale work. And now you do nails. You know, you've never done hard work. You don't even know what that means. And speaking of people who have never done hard work, here's another one of these representatives of the Democrat Party, which is causing men to flee in droves and say, get me the fuck out of here.
I'm a scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my...
So right off the bat, I use they, them pronouns. What kind? Get the fuck out of here. What a dumbass. That's was such virtue signaling for their own little clique so that everybody knows that she's a good person who cares about people. And that is so dumb. Thank God that stuff's going away.
My last semester, my primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what that means, can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, basically what I focus on is the promises that the institution has made and also the emergence of indigenous ways of knowing and being across the disciplines, and
What the hell? What does that even mean? Anybody explain that in normal language? It means I don't know shit about anything, and I've spent $100,000 learning all the shit that's not useful. But then I can feel morally superior because I have this degree, and it shows that I'm smart and I'm better, even though it's completely made up bullshit. A made up major. Decolonizing academia and bioculture futurity. What is the matter with these people? Where do they find these people? No wonder the country falling apart and the Democratic Party is falling apart. They got these kinds of dopes packed inside the party. Until they can do something to address this kind of stuff, they're going to keep bleeding. This is not a sustainable thing to have these way out on the fringes people representing your group. Now, the right has its people way out on the fringe. Yeah, for sure. And so they've got to be taken care of. They got to deal with it. It's the Democrats' responsibility to deal with this kind of nonsense. You got universities taking taxpayer money, giving degrees in this worthless bullshit that's not going to do a damn thing for society. What a waste of money all around.
Feature in a lot of stuff like language revitalization, or the emergent vitality of languages, rather, and just kind of a bunch of stuff. I've taken courses in over 20 departments, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So she's a lifetime student, basically, is what she's going to do. She's never going to actually do anything productive. She's just going to keep going to class for the rest of her life. So not only is the weakness, in things like these kind of weird girls who are doing pointless stuff, who are acting like they're a bigger deal than what they are, but it also has to do with crime, where the Democrats are just weak on crime, and they're being such crazy people about this DC shutdown, while the people in DC are thrilled that the crime's going down, because most of them are not criminals, but have to be terrorized by the criminals. They're happy. They want the criminals gone. They don't care that they have the same color of skin. They want to be safe. They want to walk to the store safe. And that's totally reasonable. And yet you got the Democrats out here who are like, nah, let's say that this is a bad thing, and let's say that crime is a good thing, and we're the good people because we're going to stick up for keeping crime rates high. And they think that that's going to be some kind of winning message. Who's putting these marches together? It's almost, honestly, it's like the Republicans are putting these marches together for the Democrats as a way of destroying the Democratic Party, because they look worse every day. That they defend lawlessness, criminals, Abrego Garcia is going to get deported because he's a criminal. Oh, but they threw a fit and they got him a trial that was total for show, pointless nonsense, waste of taxpayer money, all that. Because that's all they do. Everything they do is for show. Just like everything Gavin Newsom's doing is just a show. There's no substance behind it. There's no beliefs behind it. There's nothing really meaningful behind it. But let's take a look at another DC resident. We've looked at some before. Let's take a look at what another one has to say.
Donald Trump proved that it's possible to end black on black crime. He proved that, right? In DC, his troops, no murders for the entire weekend. That is insane. And to think that the left would protest against that, to think that the left would say, oh my God, it is a bad thing that black people are now stop killing each other. And the reason why that is a bad thing for them is because that is a core of liberalism, right? That is part of what makes them victims. So if you take away each sort of victim mentality peg or pillar, that's one less person that's going to have a victim mentality. So that's one less person that'll be a leftist, that'll be a woke libtard, right? So they are freaking out. But fuck them. What's crazy is the fact that he could actually fix that. And with police, who would have thought? That's why I always say every hood should have one prison in it.
So, why would you be against fixing a problem like this? Murder stopped for a weekend. The murder that has basically never happened. And so compare that guy to the stupid things that the Democrat leadership say about the same kinds of issues. Hold on a second. So this is the Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson. He's basically one of the dumbest people in the country. So let's take a look at what he has to say about Trump and Chicago.
Something else President Trump said on Friday with regard to your city.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Your reaction to what you just heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, the president of the United States of America has repeated this, petulant presentation since he has assumed office. And, if the reporting is actually true, what he is proposing at this point would be the most flagrant violation of our Constitution in the 21st century. The city of Chicago does not need a military occupation. That's not what we need. In fact, we've been very clear about what we need. We need to invest in people to ensure that we can build safe and affordable communities. That's what I've done as mayor since assuming office.
What the fuck does that even mean? We need to invest in people to build affordable and thriving communities. Invest in like cops? Are those the people that you're talking about? Because those are the people that you need to invest in, it sounds like. I mean, what are you investing in? Your pals, your cronies who suck the money out of the government coffers? I mean, this guy's been an abject failure from day one. He's a complete idiot. Doesn't know what he's doing. The place is going bankrupt. And yet he acts like he knows what the solution is to this kind of stuff. Even though Trump just showed what the solution is to the crime. Now, what you really need to do is you need to invest in people. You need to invest in the community. All just nonsense Democrat bullshit. They don't even know what it means. They just say that. They just say it. It's just word salad, means nothing, has no depth, has no point. And did you see how he started? He didn't even really. You think the criminals are scared of this guy? You think that they're scared that this guy's going to come into their neighborhoods and shut them down? No, not at all. What do they see when they see this guy? They see weakness. And weakness invites chaos. And that's what you have in Chicago. Chaos. Freaking boiling water, having to boil their own water and shit like that. I mean, this guy has been nothing but it. You couldn't have tried to destroy Chicago and done as good of a job as this guy did trying to manage it. Total incompetence. Just unbelievable. Here, let's take a look at this lady. This is a DC protester they're protesting Trump lowering the crime rate in Washington, D.C. That's such a horrible, racist thing to do.
We out here because they think they can take over our city. They call this a fascist takeover, but whose streets do these look like, Chuck? Whose streets do they look like? They look like our motherfucking streets. Okay, fuck the police. Okay, fuck the police. Okay, fuck the police. Okay,
They got the white liberal women holding the sign.
We out here because they think they can take.
How delusional do you have to be, and how much brainwashing have you had to think that this is gonna, first of all, do anything? It's not gonna do anything. Nobody cares. And to think, and then to fight against something like lowering people, stopping people from getting murdered. You know, you think that maybe choose a different issue. This is not going to be a winning issue for your team. Okay. Maybe choose something different, choose something maybe economic or something that more than 10% of the population actually agree with you on. Instead, they choose these weird, easily understood mainstream. Anybody with common sense and just a normal person would understand that this is a good thing. Reducing crime is good. We want safe communities. We don't want innocent people getting robbed and murdered and all that kind of stuff. This is so easy to understand and simple. And then they come out opposed to it. It's like, if you say, having coffee with your parents once a week is a good thing. These people will come out and say, no, it's a terrible thing. It's white supremacy. It's we got to stop it. It's like, what? I'm pretty sure like everyone thinks that that's an okay and that's a good thing. And then, but these people have their brains have shriveled up and just vanished from their bodies because they can't even think straight about anything reasonable. It's just all ideology. It's just all Trump bad. That's it. That's all they can do. And they're the kind of people who oppose stuff like this, who get all worked up over this kind of stuff, rather than seeing it for the beneficial and good thing that it is. They want to turn it into racism and white supremacy and all that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at this etiquette school for young black boys, started by, I believe, King Randall, I believe is his name.
Lower your hand. Put the handle of the fork in your palm. The handle of the fork in your palm. Good. And we're cutting. And pivot. Good job. Good job. Take your time. Chew with your mouth closed, please. Remember. Close the lip and cut. Okay, great job. Now, because you have salad dressing all over your lips, what's your pause position in European style? Upside down V. Fork overlapping the knife. Good. Now you take your napkin, place it on your index finger. and dab.
Tastes good, don't it?
Good job. Now place it back on your lap. I'm so proud of you. Great job. Lower your
See why is that a bad thing? So what people will say is, oh, you know, they're forcing them to act white, as if, you know, having table etiquette is somehow based on the color of your skin, which is so dumb. It's acting excellent. You know, it's following rules, it's learning discipline, it's learning how to do things a certain way, not just however you feel like doing them, right? It's structured, it's clear. And these boys are going to be well off. They're going to be great because this is going to help them get into areas of society that judge people based on this kind of stuff and let people in or out based on this kind of stuff, or at least it plays a minor role. Not as much as it used to, but it still plays a role. You know, if you're in sales and you go to a restaurant, you take out a client to a restaurant and you're eating and looking like a complete dope, and you're slobbering stuff and you're getting shit all over the place and you're making a mess and you're grossing everybody out, you're not getting the sale. That does not seem like somebody who could be relied on for good information, or someone that would still be in their job even if you need them in a year from now, you know, or not to mention like corporate boardrooms or even higher ed, or doctor, going to balls, doing these things. These are not ridiculous things to be teaching them, and there's nothing about this that's racist. I remember if you call neatness and discipline white, you're admitting that you think being sloppy and loud is black, and that's racist. What he's doing is teaching these kids self-respect. And this drives the left insane that somebody would want to teach that. Why are they so opposed to black people rising, to black people being safe in their communities, to them learning the skills they need to succeed in our society? It's like while at the same time, they're patting themselves on the back as if they're the ones who are the saviors of the black community and the only ones who care and the only ones who are helping and the only ones doing anything, as they're fighting against the lowering of crime in those very same communities so that more people can get murdered and robbed. Nobody believes their lies anymore. We can see through it all now. That they're all a bunch of hateful, racist bigots. So that takes me over here, speaking of being tough on crime. So Europe basically doesn't know what that means unless you're a citizen. If you're an immigrant, then you're fine. Commit all the crimes you want. You're not going to be prosecuted. You're going to get off with a slap on the wrist because you're too stupid, apparently, to know not to break the rules or to assault people. Right? It's more of this sort of looking down on people. Why can't immigrants? How can't you hold immigrants to the standard that you can't murder people or stab people or rape people? This is not a difficult set of rules to comprehend. Now, maybe tax law, maybe starting a business, health codes, if you're running a restaurant, those things, those are much more complicated. The very basic things of don't assault people, don't attack strangers in the street. They don't know that. Of course they know that. So this guy here is an American who was over in Germany, and he got stabbed on a tram by a Syrian asylum seeker. He was a tourist. He stopped in to stop the Syrian illegal from assaulting a woman, and he gets stabbed in the face. And that's where weakness on immigration gets you. More liberal weakness and innocent people getting injured from it. So let's take a look at what he has to say.
If y'all didn't think that Europe had an immigration problem, especially Germany, let me drop some knowledge on you. It is 11:57 right now. In 3 minutes, that man that assaulted that young woman yesterday will be released from custody. He'll be released from custody because he's not a citizen of Germany. He's not a citizen of the EU for that matter. He doesn't even belong in here. He's an immigrant, an illegal one, a drug dealer, and very popularly known here, especially by the police. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not the first time that man had beat up a woman, and it's not the first time that the other guy decided to take a swing at my face with a 6-inch blade. If they could do this to the people of Germany and then just get released 12 hours later, even less at this point, where's the law? Where's the structure? If Germans are held to that law and that structure, if Germans are held to that law and that structure, but these people could just come in, swing knives, and hurt, abuse, terrorize, and oppress citizens of Germany, then what do we do?
Yeah, right? Exactly. This is the problem people have with this, is there's two laws, right? How is it possible that an illegal in Germany can continually commit crime, get arrested, have a victim, and be released 12 hours later? And what? All right. Yeah. Well, this 12 hours amateurs here in Spain, 2 hours later, they're free as pigeons. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. I guess at least they're better at something, I guess. I don't know. It's wild that they are so okay with just letting these people go back out into the streets. Like just being arrested is what's going to deter them from doing it again. It's madness. And it's the same mentality that Democrats have in the United States. They would do the same thing. It's all these liberal leftists. They've lost their fucking minds, and they're not interested in protecting their citizens. They're not interested in any of it. They think somehow, magically, to pay off our white guilt, we got to let the brown people in or whatever. And that'll mean that we're good people and we're not racist. And through magic, these people that aren't interested in knowing our culture or our laws or following our rules, magically, they're just going to start doing that because they're going to see how great and noble we are that they're going to want to emulate us. Or something stupid like that. I mean, it makes no sense. Nobody with any common sense believes that these people know what they're doing. So, not only that, in addition to the virtue signaling of letting the brown people into the country, and that somehow being good because they're not white, is not only is that a signal of virtue, but they've gone so far as to having a trans kid is a way of virtue signaling. So they pressure their children into being trans, and then they can hold that stand. They can then project that out into the world and get the applause and praise of the other white liberal women, basically. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Let's take a look at what this Michael Malice has to say about this issue.
I think people underestimate to what extent privileged, especially white women, are willing to sacrifice their children for the altar of status. For them, having a trans kid is like winning the lottery, right? And you laugh, but it's really the case. It's very disturbing. They're the only ones bringing their kids to drag shows because for these affluent white female liberals, awfuls, a man in makeup is like the second coming. And, they're showing dad or their husband or whoever how enlightened they are because this is what corporate media tells them. So they can't wait to bring their kids and show how with the program they are. So they are a menace. And this, in my opinion, is Munchausen's by proxy. They're torturing their kids for the sake of status and accolades.
Well said. Absolutely. It's like a lottery win when their kid's non-binary. They're like, bam, yeah, finally, I did it.
I think people underestimate.
This is the big one. I got one up on all my friends. That's right. My kid's weird. I mean, I'm really open-minded and I'm really all inclusive. And so that's how great I am. And God was blessed me with a child that was non-binary. You know, it's not parenting, it's a social cult. It's social clout. It's nothing but social projection. And if we needed more proof that Hollywood was fucked up, the kids' well-being, piss on that. Who cares about there's a kid? Oh shit, yeah, that's right, I guess there is a kid. I thought it was just all about me and how people perceived me. That's how selfish and self-absorbed all these white liberal idiot women are. It's not love for the kid. It's child abuse dressed up as progressivism. And it's plain to see. So not only that, but they go even farther in their fucking moron idiocy to where they can't quite understand this concept that there's a biological difference between men and women when it comes to sports. This is like the easiest concept in the world to understand. And it's just blatantly obvious, like everywhere you go, anytime you see a sporting event or kids playing, you can just naturally observe it every single time. And you have for your entire life. And yet these gaslighting assholes want to come in and say, oh, there's no difference. Maybe the problem is that your kid just sucks. Okay. That's your solution. That's so stupid. And so this is how hateful these people are. You disagree with what they want, and they will just call you names until they bury you. Not use their common sense and say, yeah, well, my 15-year-old daughter is probably not going to be as good as the 15-year-old who just came off of the men's basketball team and now wants to play on the women's basketball team. Yeah, she's not as strong. She's not as big. She doesn't have the same kind of bone structure or muscle structure. So that doesn't mean she sucks. It means that she's out advantaged. She doesn't have an advantage over this guy. This guy's got a huge advantage, and this is so easy to understand. And they're still talking about this crap. I thought this was done. They're still going on about this as if they haven't lost the conversation. It's over. They lost. It's done. Except in stupid places like California where they're going to keep fighting it, and then they're going to lose federal funding or something, and then they're going to cry about that because they didn't. What? You don't follow the federal guidelines and you lose your federal money? Yeah, idiot. That's what happens. That's what happens for everybody. If you get a federal loan and you don't follow their guidelines, you lose the loan. You got to follow the rules. If you want the money, you got to obey the rules. He who has the gold makes the rules. So if you want the federal money, you got to do what the federal government says. This is not a difficult concept to understand either. They have, the left seems to have a really difficult time understanding very, very easy, basic concepts.
If your daughter doesn't want to compete against trans women in sports, maybe your daughter just shouldn't play sports. Ever thought about that? Maybe she just doesn't have that competitive spirit. Maybe she's just mediocre. Maybe she's not that good, because you know what? There are cis women that beat out the boys every single freaking day. So if your daughter is making all of these excuses because she thinks that a trans woman has biological advantages over her, which is probably brainwashing that you caused, if she's complaining about the biological advantages that trans women have, she's going to complain about the biological advantages that cis women have, okay? What if there's
How is it brainwashing to understand that there's a biological advantage that a male has over a female. That's not brainwash. These people are so out of their fucking minds that they think facts are brainwashing because they're so wrapped up in this mythological ideology they have about this is the way things have to be in order for it to be the right way, and they don't give a damn about the facts. Facts be damned. This is what I want to be true. And they just keep going and they keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And they think if I just say it longer, if I just say it more, if we just keep repeating it, all of us in unison now, all at the same pitch, all at the same tone, all with the same hair, all with the same nose rings, then it's going to become poof. It's going to be true, the thing we want to be true. They're out of their minds.
A cis girl on her team that's 6 feet tall. Is she going to complain? What if there's a cis girl on her team that has extra large feet and so has great balance? Is she going to complain?
No, because she's a girl.
Cis girl who has extra long arms. Is she going to complain?
No,
she's going to complain about
girl.
every damn thing. Okay, so
maybe you would, but
to hang it up. Okay,
not everybody's as big of a complainer as you.
And go on to play piano or something like that. Okay.
First of all, I thought this wasn't a big deal. So why is she making it such a big deal? Maybe because she's trying to cope. That's exactly what she's trying to do. It's such nonsense. Okay. So, as if the Democrats and the left couldn't get more retarded, we've got Hillary Clinton speaking here. And, you know, sorry, but she wants people jailed for misinformation. I don't know how much you guys pay attention to what's going on in the UK, but this is basically UK shit right here. Biden tried to do this too. He tried to get a misinformation committee established. It lasted like 3 weeks, and there was such an uproar against it. He was forced to shut it down. Now Hillary Clinton's talking about wanting what Starmer has. Starmer has it so good. He can put anybody in prison who says shit that he doesn't like. You say something bad about an immigrant, the police are coming to your house, lock you up. You're the bad one. Illegal immigrant stabs somebody in the face. Oh, that's just, you know, different cultures. What are you going to do? We can't hold him to our standards. That's white supremacy. That's racism. See, these people are so corrupt and so crooked, and their brains work so poorly that they can't see any of this kind of stuff. So let's take a look at what Crooked Hillary has to say.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because and boosting Trump back in
criminally charged for misinformation. Well, then you would be in prison, Hillary, and Barack and Comey and Brennan and all of these corrupt assholes that you guys were colluding with for the Russiagate bullshit, the Steele dossier. You're the misinformation people. And what she's implying is that this is the Trump people or the misinformation people. All they do is spread misinformation online all the time. Lies here, lies there, lies. And they've got a whole army of moron libtards who just repeat it constantly online. Oh, more lies from Megyn, more lies. And then they get shown to be true over and over and over again. They just deny that any of the things are true because, as we've already talked about, liberals don't believe that anything's true. Only what they want to be true is true. And as long as they say that the truth is lies, then those truths will become lies. And as long as they say their lies are true, then those lies become true. It's how unhinged and unfounded these people are. They're ungrounded. They have no structure. They have no integrity. They don't have any guiding principles. They don't know. It's why everybody's leaving them, because who wants to be associated with a party like that? You can't get their head out of their own ass, and then they act like they're the morally superior ones who are doing everything right. People can't stand these people anymore. And so who's going to decide what's in misinformation? Yeah, who do you think that Hillary would have as a council or a committee that decides misinformation? Would it be like a really balanced, open-minded, like a bunch of right-wing and a couple left? It would be packed full of left-wing nut jobs who think saying Trump is doing good would be misinformation. These people are so retarded.
If your daughter doesn't want to compete against...
Sorry about that. So this is the same woman, Hillary, who cooked up the Russian hoax. And she's lecturing you about misinformation. Hillary wanting to jail you for memes is like OJ giving a TED talk on knife safety. I mean, are you out of your mind? How ridiculous that sounds. So anyway, for a final clip here, I wanted to show you this. I just thought this was too funny to not. There's a guy who is driving down the road. He sees a MAGA sign and he loses his shit. It's just off the road, stuck in the grass, loses his shit. So, as you know, that's what you have to do if you're in the Democratic Party. You have to get triggered at every stupid thing. A sign that says Trump, and you're just so outraged and emotional and childish and can't contain yourself and can't understand emotions or how to control them or how to channel them properly. It's like everything that the left and the Democrats say is emotionally charged and childish, and all their representatives online are just continue to repeat it, and they look like just totally incompetent morons all the time. So I thought that this sort of, in a nutshell, was a good physical example of the difference between Democrats and Republicans. So the Republican put the sign in the yard, not causing any problems. And you'll see it's very thoughtful and smart. And you'll see the unhinged Democrat, lost in his emotions, lost in his feels, can't control himself, outraged and triggered and being a complete fool, which sums up basically how the Democratic Party does things.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great.
This is so ridiculous. You realize that, right?
No, it's not. Fuck Trump. That's what I say.
I know, but I hate Trump too, Chad. But you don't see me out here destroying property. It's probably illegal.
You know what's a fucking crime? To have a fucking Trump dance sign in the main line.
I can't believe you said that.
He runs over it.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, what is that? Oh, my God.
What is that?
Oh, my God.
Wait for it.
Oh, that's just great. What happened?
Oh my God! Oh!
What?
These fucking people! They're fucking assholes!
I have to get to work. Don't tell me you got a flat.
Look what they did! Oh, fucking asshole!
Well.
Oh, they put a board with nails through it underneath the sign. See, they're just smarter. They're thinking ahead. They knew that you stupid, unhinged Democrats wouldn't be able to control yourselves. Oh, that is so funny. And then he was mad. He called did you hear those people? They're fucking assholes. He called the Trump supporter the asshole when this guy drove off the road to run over his sign. Oh, that's perfect. I love it. That is just summarizes up the difference between the two parties right there. Love it. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for everybody for joining me again. If you like what we did here, then make sure you subscribe and that you like and that you comment and all that kind of stuff, because it helps the channel get pushed out to more people, helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for everybody showing up. I will be back tomorrow morning as well. So be here and I'll have a whole new list of things for us to go over. All right. Thanks. Have a great day.